Seagulls. Do you like seagulls? I started this video with footage of me feeding seagulls at Burger King from a couple of days ago, and I'm not really sure why, and I can't I can't be bothered to explain, but I made this video in such a way that now I can't get rid of this bit where I'm just feeding seagulls for 3 minutes. So enjoy that. Hopefully you really like seagulls enough that you want to see them get fed with some chips for about 3 minutes. So that's the beginning of this video. Enjoy. And it's nice enough anyway, and I like seagulls. I think they're quite cool. I like the sound they make. Always reminds me of holidays. Back when I lived in Sussex, I used to holiday in Devon. Have I said this before in another fucking video? Whatever, repeating myself probably, but yeah, I really love the sound that they make, because when I grew up in Sussex, we used to holiday all the time in Devon. And when I would hear the seagulls in Sussex, they would make their mad noise thing that they do. I go, oh, that reminds me of holidays or whatever. Right, terrible intro. Right, okay. So in this video, I'm the thing that I'm drawing. If you're thinking, oh, that looks like something you would draw, Sean, but at the same time, it also looks like something you wouldn't draw. That's because it was part of a draw this in your style challenge I did, just between me and another artist called Lakota F. Mayer or Meyer, I'm not too sure. There's his name on the screen. Go look him up. You really want to see the piece that he chose to do. One of my pieces. It's one of the pieces I really didn't expect him to choose. I thought he was just going to go for one of, like, the obvious cartoony things or whatever. But he didn't, so it really surprised me. And like the execution of it is fucking awesome. It looks really good. It's totally his style, which I love. When I see his artwork, I always think of, it might be a bit lazy to describe it as this, I don't know, and he's probably heard it 1,000 times. But when I see his artwork, it reminds me of Tim Burton's sketches, if you've ever seen them, and the artwork of David Firth, who did the Salad Fingers cartoons. And if you've seen Salad Fingers, you've probably seen some of the other things that David Firth did on Fat Pie, and Lord knows I did. I used to binge Fat Pie like mad when I was younger. Those IT lessons at school when you should be learning about fucking how to make a spreadsheet or whatever. But as soon as the teacher's not looking, you fucking jump onto something else. And I would always jump onto Fat Pie and watch those cartoons. I loved them. In fact, those cartoons have got a lot to fucking answer for. But yeah, here's a reimagining of one of his pieces that I did just for this little draw it in his own style competition thing. Go look him up. Just go to Facebook. I'm not going to show you what he did. Go to Facebook. You know how it works. Move your thumbs. That's all you got to do. Just twiddle your finger or your thumb or whatever you fucking use, and just go to Facebook and have a look at his artwork, right? And follow as well. Follow, for God's sake. Help us out. Lord knows we all need it. Social media is not the fucking best for supporting actual creative people who have new and interesting creative ideas. It's all fucking twerking on TikTok and lip syncing to hip hop. Twerking on TikTok and lip syncing to hip hop. Don't know why I felt the need to say that again. It just sounded good as I said it. Right, I've got some random questions. I'll just go straight into it. So Dylan, hello Dylan, how's it going, man? Dylan says, would you rather eat food that's been cooked by Hannibal Lecter, or would you rather eat food that's been cooked by an uncontacted tribe? Now, I know what my answer is, because I've always had this idea in my head. I've always questioned, and not in a mad serial killer kind of fucking way. This isn't me confessing to be a fucking weirdo with strange sexual fantasies or whatever. It's just I don't know, it's probably just a product of being a big fan of horror films and shit. But I've always thought to myself, if you could go to a restaurant where it was completely legal to eat human meat, would I give it a go? And after having painted the sort of perfect scenario in my mind of what that would look like, so it's least disgusting as possible, I think the conclusion I come to is probably yes, I would. But let me paint the scenario for you, right? So let's just say Gordon Ramsay, right, has opened up a restaurant in a country where cannibalism is totally normalised. In fact, it is an honour to be eaten. A lot of people donate their bodies to these restaurants because in that country it's just part of their culture that it's a real honour to be eaten by people for fucking whatever reason. I don't know, it doesn't matter, it's just a fantasy fucking scenario, right? And Hannibal Lecter, in this universe, Hannibal Lecter's a real person. And he's the guest chef at Gordon Ramsay's new restaurant in this country, whatever country it is, I don't know. A made up country, who cares, right? The point is that it's totally legal to eat people. Now, imagine you're sat there, right, and you don't know what to order, but most people choose a human arm. A human arm because it's, I don't know, maybe like the least offensive looking body part, I don't know. But the arm comes out, right, and it's on a plate, and there's potatoes, and there's veg, there's gravy, the gravy's really nice. The human arm is really nice, right? So like they cut it down. It's just the what do you call this bit that I'm looking at that you can't see? The bit that your hand's connected to, your forearm, isn't it? Right. So it's just the forearm, yeah. And they've taken the bone out the middle, and they've put like stuffing in there. You know when you have stuffing at Christmas and it's really nice, sage and onion and all that sort of thing. And then the skin on the outside is kind of like crackling. The arm is being presented in the same kind of way as like a stuffed belly pork roast, right? That sounds nice, doesn't it? Now I know it sounds fucking horrible when you mean not really, because it's a human, and I'm not really into cannibalism, to be honest. But neither am I. But if you went to this restaurant where it was really beautifully presented, and it's one of Gordon Ramsay's new restaurants, and for whatever reason Hannibal Lecter is the guest chef, but it comes out on the plate, it looks really good. And the hand as well, the hand is still connected, but the fingers have been taken off, cooked, and then put back on, and you take them off, and it's kind of like eating a spare rib, right? And you dip them in a sauce which is served in a human skull. But you know, don't picture something from like Hannibal, the dinner table scene from Hannibal. You know, don't picture that. This isn't a horror movie thing. Don't picture Ed Gein's house or whatever. This is a decorative skull bowl with the top cap, the skull cap thing, like, you know, taken off, and then it's filled with a lovely dip. Oh, so nice. I don't know, I haven't got a fucking clue what it is. Probably more human stuff, I don't know. But it's a really nice dip, and you dip the little fingers in there, and you just nibble the meat off the finger bones. Now, if it was really nice and it tasted great and people were talking about it, and you just happened to be holidaying in that country and it wasn't taboo whatsoever, do you think, yeah, you know what, actually fuck it, I think I maybe would. I think maybe I would actually have a little nibble. You know what I mean? Just like, I wouldn't want anything fucked up, you know, in the same way that I don't want anything fucked up when I eat an animal. I don't even like liver. Or have you ever tried sheep's brain or whatever? No, I don't want sheep's brain. Oh, have you ever eaten a fish's eye or whatever? I actually really like them. Disgusting. I don't want a fish's eye. I don't want a fucking sheep's brain. I think the most perverted I go with my animal meat is probably cow tongue. Cow tongue's actually quite nice. You just have it in a sandwich. So yeah, I wouldn't go for anything fucked up when it comes to this cannibalistic restaurant. I wouldn't be choosing, oh, it's a sandwich filled with lips or whatever, you know what I mean? Or it's a woman's labia on a on a little biscuit thing or something with some a cheese sauce that's actually made out of cheese and spunk or whatever, like, on a woman's labia on a little sponge biscuit thing or whatever. I'm not fucking eating that, right? Just let's try the meat, you know. I don't want any of the fucking weird pervert shit, you know. And I'm sure there probably is a room for that at the restaurant. Oh, you go to this side of the restaurant if you want to eat dick. If you want a foreskin pie, you go over here, you know. And the foreskin pie, again, you cut into it, and the sauce looks really nice, but smells awful. Yeah, it's semen. All the sauces are semen. If you go to these restaurants, everything's coated in fucking spunk. And I'm not eating any of that. I'm not interested. Why am I defending this so much? It's not even a real fucking restaurant. So I would rather have food cooked by Hannibal Lecter, is my answer to that first question. But in the most idyllic, non-disgusting horror movie kind of setting, where it's totally normalised, so I'm not a perverted weirdo who's fucking eating people. You know, I'm not Dennis Nilsson. I'm not who's the other guy? Jeffrey Dahmer or whatever. Ed Gein. Any of them. They're all fucking maniacs. Okay, and then Dylan's next question after that was, what film would you rather have to live through, Hostel or Cannibal Holocaust? I'm going to go with the film Hostel, just because there's a chance of, if I've got to live through that film, I might be one of the characters who managed to escape. So I guess I would go for that. I mean, ideally, fucking neither of them. Certainly not Cannibal Holocaust. That's come up a lot recently, just in my life. I just podcast that I listen to. A podcast, a very good. This is a nice little segue. Cannibal Holocaust got talked about recently on a podcast called Rot and Rewind by two of the people who are going to be contributing questions after this question. But basically, Enoch X Mortis, right? If you follow me, you would have seen he's a rapper from Michigan. He does like really cool shit. But so is Hunter Fortune as well, better known as Ill Fortune. They both do a podcast called Rot and Rewind, and they were talking about Cannibal Holocaust on there recently, and loads of other stuff as well. If you're listening to this, right, and you really like horror films, and you want to listen to two sad fucking nerds, I'm joking, but two sad nerds just nerding it up about nerdy horror film shit, like deep diving into everything, go check out the Rot and Rewind podcast. You can find it on YouTube. It's awesome. Like any podcast where two fucking like know-it-all experts are really like digging into something, it is good, you know. It's always good to listen to people who really know what they're talking about. These two guys do, and it's wicked. Go check it out. Rot and Rewind. In fact, I've written it on the screen. There it is. So Hostel, yeah, Hostel would be it. Right, so next question from Enoch X Mortis is, who's your favourite actor? Who the fuck is my favourite actor? I mean, I could narrow it down a bit by, like, you know, going by genre, comedy, horror, drama or whatever. I think my favourite actor, because they just consistently make me laugh, and I love to fucking laugh. I love comedy more than anything. Now as I'm saying that, I've got all these different comedy actors running into my mind, going pick me. But it has to be Rick Mayall. If you're American or just basically not from the UK, you might know Rick Mayall from the film Drop Dead Fred. I'm just going to go with Drop Dead Fred. I can't really think of big American stuff that he did outside of the UK, to be honest. But Drop Dead Fred was like a... Do you remember he's wearing like a green outfit? He's got ginger hair. He's that girl's imaginary friend. You might have seen it as a bit of a cult classic. It's not a good film. It's not a fucking good film by any stretch of the imagination. But Rick Mayall was in it. If he wasn't in it, it'd be fucking trash. But because he's in it, he's hilarious. No one makes me laugh more than Rick Mayall. He did... I'm not going to fucking break down his entire career. But he did... He was in a show called The Young Ones. And The Young Ones, for me, like I'm sure I watched that when I was too little to be watching The Young Ones. But it was always on in the background. My mum and dad had it on VHS. And it was always on. And I know that fucking programme like the back of my hand. And like, nothing makes me fucking laugh more. And just like David Firth's cartoons mentioned earlier have a lot to answer for, the show The Young Ones has a lot to answer for, because like it just gelled with my brain. As I was watching it, I was like, yeah, this is you, dude. Like, this show is what it's like in your fucking head most days. And so away from Rick Mayall, I would have to say Vic Reeves, but then you have to include Bob Mortimer from Vic and Bob, or Reeves and Mortimer, whatever you know him as. But yeah, I could easily spend way too long on this question. But Rick Mail, favourite actor, definitely. Just too fucking funny. The first time you drew. I think the first time I sat... Well, I can't remember... Well, I guess I can remember what I drew. Again, I think I've already said this in another video, but I'll just go over it again quickly. My dad was good at drawing as well. He didn't draw much, but me and my sister came home from school. There were loads of drawings on the floor laid out, and my dad had done lots of different Warner Brothers characters. And he said, right, pick one. There were about 12 laid out on the floor, I think, and he was like, right, you get to pick 6 each. I picked like Bugs Bunny, Yosemite Sam, and Wild E. Coyote, and those were hanging up in my bedroom. And I thought, I'm going to copy one of them, and then I tried to draw Bugs Bunny. You know, it didn't look as good. But then from there, I started copying the Beano and the Dandy and those old British comics and stuff, and I've been over that 1,000 times. Let's just move on to next question. Favourite punk band? I really liked Vice Squad. If you don't know Vice Squad, you might have heard the lead singer's voice in a song by The Prodigy called Spitfire. You know, I'm saying that and I don't even know if that actually is her. It fucking must be. I'm sure. I think The Prodigy and Vice Squad were quite close together, being that kind of punky music. I'll tell you what I do know. I know that I need a fucking drink. Talking consistently for fucking 16 minutes. Don't know if I've hurt your fucking throat. Oh dear. Favourite punk band, probably Vice Squad. I really liked them. I really liked Subhumans. I don't listen to a lot of punk music anymore, except for when it comes on my random Spotify. Have you ever spotted a fly? I have. There's 2 flies in my fucking room at the moment, actually. I've spotted 2 flies recently. And they won't fuck off. You know when you leave the window open and the door open and everything open, and they still remain in the room. It's like, why wouldn't you just, after billions of years worth of evolution when it comes to flies, why don't they know how to exit a fucking room? Because they never do. Like, you can just leave a window open, like I'm saying. They never fucking fly out of it. You have to chase them with a bit of paper or whatever. I was mad about the Sex Pistols when I was really into punk at the age of I don't know, like not 16, probably like 18, 19. I was really mad about punk, and I had the leather jacket and the mohawk and the tartan trousers and all the old rest of it, and I was a real Sex Pistols fanatic. So to be honest, I'm probably really boring, obvious answer that any punk could give, but yeah, Sex Pistols, definitely. I had books, I had DVDs. If you want a really good documentary that tells you everything you'll ever need to know about the Sex Pistols, watch one called The Filth and the Fury. Really good, really good. Local urban legends. These questions are still from Enoch. Local urban legends. I think I know what you're hinting at. I'm not talking about him on a I'm not talking about this guy down by the bridge who's just there, who just lives by the bridge. I'm not going into that. Just in case, I don't know if anyone local who sort of knows me or whatever knows him as well, and then I don't know. Just to be on the safe side, I'm not going to go into that. But other local, okay, here's another local legend story sort of thing. But basically where I live, Bideford, was one of the last places in the UK to hang somebody for being a witch. And I think the reason that she was called out for being a witch was that someone saw a black cat going into her bakery that she owned, I think, and they hung her. They hung her in the library. The library, which is right next to where this random guy always just happens to be hanging around by a fucking bridge. It's right next to that. He might have something to fucking do with it, I don't know, it might be one of her relatives. Well, whatever, I'm not going into that. But yeah, where I live was one of the last places in the UK to hang somebody for being a witch. Uh, okay, so last question from Enoch is Marble's favourite chair. Marble's favourite chair is the leather chair. She has her own leather chair in the front room, and she has a bean bag as well in the conservatory. And when she sits on the bean bag, she's so heavy that she like sinks into it. So you have to like walk into the conservatory and look down into the bean bag to see whether she's there or not. And 9 times out of 10, especially if it's a hot day, and the conservatory is just like a little oven for her. You all know how much cats love just baking in the sun. So that's what she does. She sits in the bean bag and she just bakes away. And I love it when she's fresh out of the oven, because you pick her up and smell her, and she smells like, I was going to say hot cat, and then my brain said warm pussy. So, whatever. But she smells like, she just smells like a nice warm animal. I love the smell of animals. I love sniffing dogs and cats and warm pussy. What else we got? So yeah, that's the last of Enoch's questions. Thank you very much. And All Fortune. What was your one? Oh God, right, yeah. Have I got another time? This is going to be a fucking deep question. Would you rather get fisted by Freddy Krueger's glove or deep throat Jason's machete? As in Jason Voorhees, the guy with the hockey mask from the films. Oh yeah, and I asked him, well, are there medics on standby to like fucking help with the aftermath? There's not. I just have to, he said I have to basically limp my way to the nearest hospital and just hope that I survive. Would you rather get fisted by Freddy Krueger or deep throat Jason Voorhees' machete? Yeah, I gave this a little thought and I can't really remember what my conclusion was. I thought, oh yeah, I don't want Freddy Krueger's glove up my arse for the obvious reason, because it's fucking 5 blades up my arse. And it's going to be horrible. I never had anything up my bum before, so trying to squeeze a fist in there for the first time is going to be horrible. I mean, it might not be horrible. Maybe it's well, no, it is going to be horrible, isn't it? I mean, I don't know who's I don't know who's set this up. I'm not sure what the circumstances are, but what is certain is that Freddy, in this scenario, Freddy Krueger is real and Jason Voorhees is real. So has some sort of mad scientist created a machine that brings fictional characters to life, and for some reason this mad scientist has really got it in for me, and he's kidnapped me. I wake up in a room like something from the fucking Saw films or whatever, or Hostel as mentioned earlier. And the scientist says, right, there's Freddy Krueger, there's Jason Voorhees, what would you rather do, get fisted or deep throat a fucking serrated blade? Yeah, so it's not going to be nice, is it? I mean, what I was going to say originally just now, I was going to say maybe they're going to break me in slowly with a different selection of dildos or whatever, so my anus is stretched to take a fist. But I don't even want that. I don't want that bit. I think I'd rather just the fist straight away. I mean, there's no there's no nice version of this, is there? Either way, it's fucking horrible. So do I want the bladed hand of a fucking nightmarish fucking pedo? Do I want his fist up my arse? I think, to be honest, I'm probably going to go with the fist up my arse because I think if I manage to get myself to a hospital, a team of surgeons can probably deal with that, so long as he's not going to open up his hand inside my arse. It's just a load of scratches and wounds and stuff. I don't even know how are they even going to get in my arse to sew up the well, it doesn't matter, does it? Because it's still less horrible than being fisted. At least I'm going to be knocked out and sedated when the fucking surgeons go in there. Unlike Freddy Krueger, who's just going to be shoving it up. If he's got a balled up fist and he's just shoving it in my arse, that's that's all right. That's better than deep throating a machete, because the I mean, I gave it like a second's thought earlier on while I was making a cup of coffee. Deep throating a machete, that's gonna fuck you up for life. I mean, where do you even begin? I mean, that's death. There's no way I'm making it to a hospital. Like, my throat is bleeding all the way down into my rib cage, into my organs, my stomach, everything. I mean, that is just death. I mean, that doesn't even require any more thought. Don't need to put any more thought into that, do you? That's just swallowing a fucking. I mean, unless I trained with a circus, if there was a circus that said, Sean, we're going to teach you how to deep throat different blades, they wouldn't fucking call it that, would they? Sword. We're going to teach you how to be a sword swallower. But then they don't fucking swallow machetes, do they? Which is a really wide blade. Yeah, hang on, fuck off. How am I even going to get a fucking machete in my mouth? How am I going to get it past my lips? It's basically just going to slice the sides of my mouth and slice my throat open, leaving like the sides of my throat exposed as it's going down into my body. So yeah, instant fucking death. Oh, it's Freddy Krueger's glove up my ass. Definitely. Yeah. It's going to have to be, isn't it? As much as I don't want it, it's going to have to be. What the fuck is the scenario? Why is Freddy Krueger... Oh, maybe he's come to me in a dream or something. Well, not a dream, a nightmare. Maybe he's come to me in a nightmare and done it. But then that's a make-believe scenario, isn't it? That's just a dream or whatever. I mean, if it's a dream, you can do whatever you fucking want. You can have a fiddle with my nipples as well. Circumcise me, whatever he wants to do. He could circumcise me. Give it to Hannibal Lecter to give to Gordon Ramsay's team at the fucking Cannibal restaurant. Serve it up, let people what you couldn't do much with a foreskin, could you, if you were into cannibalism? What are you going to do with that? You could you could collect enough foreskins that you've turned them into like little circle shapes, like little hoops, and then dry them out. And then you could stick them in a bag of crisps. You know those crisps called hula hoops? People put them on their fingers when they eat them. I haven't seen them for ages. They even still exist. Hula hoops, you can make foreskin versions of them. So you just dry them out, and then you drop them into some like salt and cheese or whatever. Oh no, not fucking cheese. Jesus. I was going to say you wouldn't even have to wash mine if you wanted a cheesy foreskin hula hoop, but that's not true. I don't smell. Yeah, like you could make a packet of hula hoops that are basically just the foreskins is what I'm talking about, crispy foreskins. Stop saying foreskins. Yeah, so there you go. Oh god, I've still got about 4 minutes left. Going back to the Cannibal restaurant, what else could you cook? What else would I have in there if I had to? There's so many things that I wouldn't eat. If they served up ear soup, it's just ears floating in a soup that's probably made out of blood or whatever, and I don't think you could ever make blood taste nice. Blood's disgusting when you cut your hand or whatever and you lick it, and it's that copper taste. Horrible. So I wouldn't eat ear soup. And I know, Enoch, if you're still watching this, I know exactly what you're picturing, and Ill Fortune, I know what you're picturing. The brain dead when that woman's ear falls off into the custard. Well, it would be exactly like that, and yeah, I'm not eating an ear. I wouldn't eat someone's fucking nose. I don't want to eat an eyelid. Don't want to eat just someone's like bottom jaw, and the delicacy is like the gums or whatever. Or if you scrape the gums off with a spoon, it's actually really nice. You know, people will just be eating the really like fiddly, stupid things. There would probably be like a snot biscuit as well, just like a very crumbly, flat disc made out of dry bogies. Again, with probably some sort of spunk sauce on top of it. Are they serving up people's shit as well? In no way, shape, or form. It's bad. It's bad enough fucking breathing in your own shit when you're in a small fucking toilet, with a small window, you know, and it just reeks, and you can almost taste your own shit in the air. That's bad enough. So like, how people do scat porn and stuff like that. I mean, it's so fucked up. How does people eat their own shit? Why would you? I mean. Like, well, the answer is because they're mad, isn't it? I mean, you wouldn't ever fucking do that if you were sane. So actually, yeah, you can write off diarrhea pudding at the Cannibal restaurant. What else would they have? Human eyeballs, that would definitely be a thing. Or actually, maybe they wouldn't. Like, I mean, I'm making up the rules. Like, I fucking, I'm the one who's pretending this is real, right? But in this restaurant, I don't think they would serve up people's eyeballs, because that's kind of like a sacred part of the body. You know, that's the eyes are the gateway to the soul, or whatever the saying is. So they probably wouldn't. They probably wouldn't. In fact, they probably preserve people's eyeballs and put them on display at the restaurant as a reminder of those who donated their bodies or whatever. And so, and then in that country as well, the natives believe that it's like they're watching people enjoying their bodies. Oh, isn't that lovely? So yeah, the walls of the restaurant are probably covered in eyeballs of the people who donated their bodies. How much longer have I got left? Oh God. What else then? What else could you eat? Earwax and snot. I mean, they're all gross, aren't they? Let's talk about something nice. I'm just picking the gross stuff. Well, I guess basically just the meat. You know, the meat and the muscle, a leg. Oh, maybe there would be a competition to eat like a fat person's thigh. You know those like, how quickly can you eat a giant steak at a Texas steakhouse competition thing? You could have something like that, but like a big fat person's thigh. Oh, but then that's mostly fat, isn't it? You don't really eat the fat on anything, do you? Apart from bacon. So no, let's not do that. That's disgusting. And who the fuck wants to eat that as well? I'm picturing like those surgical programs where they help a big fat person by chopping parts of their body off. They do liposuction and all that kind of shit. I can't say I've ever looked at an amputated fat person's inner thigh on a table surrounded by surgeons. I've gone, oh, that looks delicious, you know. So no, I wouldn't do that. That'd be fucking gross. Well, I think I've run out of ideas for the Cannibal restaurant, but that question certainly had legs, Dylan. So cheers for that. If you got any more, let me know. Maybe not cannibal related. I think I've ran that into the ground. Yeah, favourite actor is Rick Mail. Just looking at the questions. Favourite chairs for my cat. Oh, good, we're at the end. Right, cheers guys. Thank you very much.